Good afternoon, everybody. I happen to be Al McCoy, and I love basketball. Right now, I welcome you to what I believe is one of the highlights of the Suns' entire history that we're going to be a part of here today. And I'm happy that you could join us. Right now, I'd like to ask James Jones to join us on stage, our president of basketball operations and, of course, general manager. James, if we can get you, and we'll hear from James in a few minutes. Good to see you. Now, my question is there anyone here other than me that remembers when Mike was taking the ball to the hoop at Holbrook High School? I know Coach Vince does. Okay. Well, all of us in this room know of the accomplishments of Mike as a coach. It's history, what he has done. He's had an amazing, amazing career. All the success that he has had certainly has been well documented, and we all know about it. And that's important, and I certainly don't want to overlook that. But to me, as I have the pleasure of introducing it to you this afternoon, is his love for basketball. And so it is a great honor for me to present to you now a coach that loves the game of basketball, the coach of the Phoenix Suns, Mike Budenholzer. Mike, come on out here and Shazam for you, my friend. Mike, love you. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
My heroes right there. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's a good day. Today I have the pleasure of introducing the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Mike Budenholzer. And Mike's credentials, his history, his accomplishments are well documented. He's a two-time NBA Coach of the Year, been recognized by his peers twice as Coach of the Year. He's won over 60% of his games as a head coach. One of the elite coaches, very few have the opportunity to do it and do it as well as he has. He's won a championship. He's coached a lot of great players, but more importantly, he's a competitor. And everywhere you go, everyone you speak to, from his childhood, youth in Holbrook to San Antonio, if you're looking in Milwaukee, Atlanta, the players, the coaches, the executives, everyone who knows Mike Budenholzer knows at the end of the day, you find an ultimate competitor. And we're here to compete for championships. And I believe with Mike at the front, we'll continue to do that, which is compete for championships. And so I hope you are as excited as I am to welcome the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Mike Budenholzer.
Thank you, James, and Thank you, Al McCoy. Wow. So I want to start with a few thank yous for myself, starting with my kids. They can't be here today, but Will, Libby, Hannah, and John, so proud of them, so thankful for them. We got 2 graduations happening this week in our family, so it's a big week, busy week for our family. My partner, Lisa, here today, been a game changer in my life. My dad, Vince Budenholzer, 94 years old, sitting in the front row. We call him the original Coach Bud. So 71 state championship with my brother, Jim. I'm still chasing that. I'll trade an NBA championship for my dad's high school state championship. So I love you, Dad. It's an amazing day for me. My siblings, Jim, my brother Jim's here. Teresa and Jim Keeley, they're here in the Valley. The love and support I'm going to get from them is amazing. Friends from Holbrook, it's just crazy and amazing to have them here. I wonder just quickly, the ownership in Milwaukee and Atlanta, they trusted me. They've helped me grow while I've been with them. I'm appreciative of them. And the players in both Milwaukee and Atlanta, they're special, they're talented, and they allowed me to coach them. All these people have put me in a position, I'm grateful for my past, but they've put me in a position to be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. And my future, wow, how excited. It's crazy. It's freaking exciting. And so as I look to the future, I want to start with a thank you to Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Phoenix Suns. His passion and commitment for winning, his passion and commitment to the players, to the organization, to the city has been off the charts. He has been beyond impressive. He's a big reason why I wanted this job, why I've targeted it, come after it. I just couldn't be more excited about working with Matt and more appreciative of him putting me in this position. James and Josh, to align with them and to partner with them. What James has done, putting together rosters that have played and competed for championships in our recent history, and the roster we have today. James has put that together. Josh's vision and energy and execution the last week is high level. Like, to work with these 2 guys, it's just exciting for me. And that's when you think about jobs and you figure out what you want to do. You want to align ownership, front office, and coaching. And I feel like we have an opportunity to do that here at a high level. And that's what it takes to win. So I'm incredibly appreciative of that, all those people. And I'm beyond excited about coaching the Phoenix Suns, coaching this roster, coaching these players. We feel like, as a coach and as management and players, you want to have a chance to compete for championships. And that's what we have here in Phoenix. That's what I'm excited about, is competing for championships. And no doubt it starts with our roster. It starts with Devin and Kevin and Brad, but all throughout the roster, we've got to build a team that's built with competitors, with people with high character, with unselfishness. And you go to Nurk and Grayson and all the way through the roster, we feel like we can compete for championships here in Phoenix, and that's what I'm excited about. The type of team we want to be, it's what James said. At the end of the day, we want to be competitors. We want to compete. That is our calling card. We want to be a team that plays unselfish. We want to be a team that stays together. And lastly, we want to be a team and players individually that are getting better every day. If we focus on what we're doing each day, that's what's going to give us our best chance to realize our potential to be a championship level team. I'm sure I'll get questions, but at the end of the day, if our focus is on what we're doing every day, that's what matters most. Talking about championships, it's kind of meaningless. At the end of the day, talk is cheap. What you do every day is powerful. And so, as I talk to our players, I talk to our ownership, our front office, everybody, what are we doing every day to be our best? And that's what's going to give us our best chance to win championships in Phoenix. So I could not be more excited. It's like mind-boggling to me, mind-blowing to think that I'm going to be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. So I'm looking forward to questions and the future here in Phoenix.
We can open for questions. Please remember to ask for the mic, raise your hand, state your name and affiliate. Gerald, we'll start with you.
Hey, Coach. Welcome to the Valley. Gerald Bourget, PHNX Sports.
Thank you.
As someone who grew up in Holbrook, listening to Al McCoy, as a kid, idolizing the Suns, what does this moment mean for you to be the head coach of the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, I didn't know Al McCoy was going to be here today, so I'm going to circle back to Al McCoy and maybe do some names and history. But I think the biggest message I want you to hear, and like, I would coach this team if it was on the moon. I would coach this team if it was in Alaska, if these players were in Denmark, these owners and front office. I would go anywhere to coach this team. That's the most important thing for me. I'm excited about the roster. I'm excited about everything. So at the same time, yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what the word is, surreal or wild. And to have Al kind of introduce me and to think about, Alvin Adams at the Elbows AA and Sweet D and Paul Westphal, my dad taking me in the backyard and teaching me Paul Westphal reverse pivot into a pump fake to a step through. I mean, I could go on. I'm probably in the wrong room to do Suns trivia, but in other states in the country, I'd probably do okay. So, yeah, I'm beyond excited about this opportunity, but it's mostly about the players, it's about the organization, it's about the team, and I can't wait to get to work.
Hey, Mike, David Brandt from the Associated Press. You talked about your partnership with James and Josh and everything. A lot has been made about this team's roster construction and how it's going to build going forward. And I wondered, how much say do you have in it? How much was that in the talks, when you were doing the job of how much say do you have in building this roster? Yeah,
I mean, the week that we spent together, or maybe it's a few days less, it's been just great. I think as they interviewed me and we talked about the team and we talked about the possibility of being the head coach, James and Josh and Matt, I genuinely felt they wanted my thoughts. They cared about, how I felt about the team. It's all of our decisions, and so I'm just happy to have like a seat at the table to feel like my voice will be heard. And the same. I need to listen and learn about the team. James has put together a hell of a team. Josh and Matt, what they think. And together, collaboratively, make great decisions. The more smart people we get at the table, the more we listen to each other, the more we learn from each other. That's how we're going to continue to build an even better team, better roster.
Hey, Coach. Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic. Congratulations on the job. Can you first pronounce your last name so we can get that cleared up?
Oh, this is tough with my dad in the room. It's a long story, but I say Budenholzer, and if anybody says Budenholzer, that's fine also. And I'm probably going to get in trouble when I go home. So it's too complicated. Let's go to your real question.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, you'll be the third coach in 3 seasons for this team. So how are you approaching that, knowing you obviously know the expectations and guys have been let go that have been proven just as yourself. So what's your mindset going into a situation like this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about, working with this roster and these players. We have great players, and with great players come great expectations. And I think to embrace that and understand, how important it is what we're doing every day. A lot of the stuff in my opening, how are we getting better every day? And I think that's what's going to put us in position to realize our potential. And that's, really how I've been raised. That's, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, to focus on what we're doing every day. And I would say, over the last however many years, to embrace the expectations, embrace the pressure of being an elite team, of having great players and great expectations. And, our guys have been doing that. And, hopefully together we can find a good rhythm and a good place to work and understand what's expected of us, to hold each other to high standards, hold each other accountable. We all have to do that, and it starts with me, and I'm excited about doing it.
Coach, Richard Sines, Fox 10, welcome home.
Thank you.
When you talk about, chasing that state title that your brother and your dad won, and you think of your history here, with the state being from here, what would it mean to you to be the coach to lead this franchise to its first ever NBA championship?
Yeah. The people from Holbrook giving me some love. So it would be special, but again, it's going to be special for every single person in this room, for every single person on the roster, whether you've won one championship or 2 championships or 4 or 5, it doesn't matter. When you win a championship, it's special. And so certainly there's a story, and I understand it and I appreciate it, but we're going to work every day to try and bring a championship to Phoenix. And I think everybody's going to be just as excited as I am if that happens, and we're all going to have an amazing time and an amazing feeling. But it's a ton of work that goes into it, and I think we all are excited about the work.
Hi, Mike. Doug Haller with The Athletic. You mentioned a little bit about the decision-making process. Have you had a chance to talk to Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal? And if so, just what were those conversations like?
Yeah, definitely had a chance to talk with those 3 guys and really most or almost all of the roster. And those conversations are private, and they're important to me. And I think the honesty that particularly those 3 guys have had with me and shared with me, it's been great. I think they hope they know they have a coach that's going to listen to them, values, their experience, their knowledge. We want guys with super high basketball IQs, and I think all 3 of those guys have that. So I would just say super healthy conversations, very respectful both ways. And I think we take it all in, we listen, and we make great decisions, and those guys are included. They're big to us, they're important to us.
Lena?
12 News Phoenix, Lena Washington here, welcome home. I'm just curious how you spent the last year off and away from basketball and how that will change how you approach this season getting back into the game.
Yeah, I think this year for me was really healthy. I kind of had like a list of priorities, diving into my kids and my family, super important, and we've been through a lot. So really the time with my kids was just amazing. My son's a senior in high school, going to every one of his games was just, you drive home, you're like, wow, I got a gift. So diving into family and kids was awesome. Trying to get healthy, like putting time into my body, my mind, my spirit, everything. I'm in a great place. I feel really good. Did some amazing traveling. Went to some places in the world that were just awesome. And then, did some basketball, like a little bit. I tried to keep it in its place. I tried to, stay relevant with it, aware of it, but also know, how important those other 3 things were to me. And, I don't ever want to do it again. Well, the kids and the traveling and family's all good, but I'd like to keep coaching as much and as long as I can.
Greg?
Okay, there we go. Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing all this. We appreciate it. You've been around some amazing players, right? You probably go back to David Robinson, you get Tim Duncan and Giannis. What's the superstar-coach relationship look like? How does it work well? What should it look like?
Yeah, I think the most important thing with all the great players, but to be honest with you, with every player on our roster, is to build a relationship with them, show them that you care about them genuinely, that you care about their family, you care about things that are going on in their life, and you care about making them the best basketball player that they can become. I think the great ones want to get better. They're not content. They're not happy with where they are. They want to keep getting better. So, building a relationship with them, showing them that you genuinely care about them, and then I would say coaching them, coach them hard. That's what I've seen for really all of my NBA life. I'm certainly trying to do it as a head coach. I'm not perfect, but my experience is you got to coach your best players. You got to coach them hard. You got to demand of them. You got to have high expectations for them. And usually they thrive. That's part of what makes them great. They actually want to be coached. They want it. And so that's been my observation. That's, kind of my mentality going into this. We have some great players, and Devin and Kevin and Brad, they are big time. So I think they know that I'm going to have high expectations of them. I'm going to coach them. I'm going to hold them accountable. But that's what I'm going to do with everybody. And so it's not any different. That's kind of been my roadmap for coaching, whether it's the best players or the entire roster.
Cam?
Mike, Cameron Cox, 12 News, welcome back home.
Thank you.
For those that don't know, what was it like growing up in Holbrook? And then what was the best thing you learned from your dad?
Growing up in Holbrook, to me, just learning and working and having fun with people from all different walks of life. It's just south of the Navajo Reservation. Half of my high school teammates were Navajos. The diversity we had in our community, the black community, the Mexican community, everybody. It was just, I was so lucky to grow up with all the friends that I had, the teachers I had, the coaches that I had, Terry Brace and Charlie Escobel, my football and high school basketball coaches, my Little League coach, Tim Hatch. It's just all that cliche small town stuff. I don't know, it happened in my small town. I absolutely loved growing up in Holbrook. It made me who I am today. I'm gonna keep it short and simple with my dad. I'll say he taught me that you press, you play fast, and those were my two biggest things. He always wants to know why I'm not pressing, and you got to play faster.
Dana?
Yeah. Dana Scott from Arizona Republic. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
I was wondering about your past success with your benches on coaches on places you coached in San Antonio, in Atlanta, and in Milwaukee. How do you plan to bring that culture here to maximize the role players and bench's talent around the big three here that you've done with the other big threes and other places you've coached?
Yeah, I think as you interview for a job and you think about a job, I hope that, that James and Josh and Matt know that I actually think my most important job is to make those guys better, to make those guys the best that they can be. With a ton of respect to Devin and Kevin and Brad, I feel like I know what I'm going to get from them every night. They're great. They've been great. I'm going to push them to be even more. But how do we make the other people around them their best? How do we get the most out of our, the other guys that are starting and playing with them, the guys that are finishing with them, the guys that you got to manage 48 minutes? As a coach, I think the great coaches, that's actually the characteristic or the thing that, how do we get the best out of those guys? Because you're great players, there's a reason they're great. So all that to say, it's incredibly important to me, and it's again, it's vitamins, it's day-to-day work, it's giving them time to work on their craft, to work on their body, film, giving them confidence at the end of the day is probably as important or more important than anything. So there's a lot that goes into building the whole team around them, but it's a huge priority for us as a coaching staff.
Mike, Colin Harmon, ABC 15 Sports, congratulations.
Thank you.
Everywhere you've been, your teams have been high-volume, three-point shooting teams. What's your philosophy on that, and how do you apply that here specifically with Kevin and Devin, who we all know love to live in the mid-range?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be, philosophical approaches to how we practice every day, how important shooting threes is, and, the spacing and all the value and all the things that come from being a high-volume three-point team. I'm going to work with the whole group to help them embrace it, understand why it's important to us. And, when I think about, Kevin and Devin, being two of the greatest, maybe all time, certainly this generation, and as we talk about today's NBA in the mid-range, I think of it as just adding to what they do. They're so talented. They are so good at everything they do. I don't want to take away from anything that they do. I want to add to what they do. I want to make them better. I want to push them to be their best. And what's best for our team, and to get all of us to understand, how do we win? And there's no doubt that these guys will know. I think threes are a part of it, but we're going to do it from day one. We're going to do it starting in the gym probably on Monday, training camp all throughout the summer. But, you know, the whole team, it's going to be important. But, you know, and including Brad, all those guys, they're incredible players. I just want to add to what they do. That's my mentality, is to push them and to make them their best selves and for us to have our best team.
We have 2 questions, Dana and then Gerald.
Oh, okay. I'm Dana today too. Okay, that works. James, wanted to ask you, when you look at this, you know, the partnership as far as putting the roster together, you've had that with Monty, you had that obviously with Frank. What things are you looking at to give him as far as a roster to help him have the best chance of winning the championship?
Those conversations will be ongoing, but as Bud said earlier, shooting. For us, we need to shoot. We were laughing, me and Bud were talking about my philosophy on the game and his philosophy on the game. And I said, never forget the object of the game of basketball is to put the ball in the basket. And so if we can continue to find guys that can put it in the basket and also train every day to get our guys to be more efficient at it, that makes us a better team. And it flows with his philosophy, which is we want to play fast and we want to press. I think I got it right?
James, Gerald Bourguet over here again. I just wanted to ask, you had mentioned evaluating everything when it comes to the summer. You guys had mentioned you felt like Frank did a good job with the circumstances. So in that evaluation process, what was it that ultimately led you to move on from Frank? And what was it that, when you were looking at candidates, made Bud stand out as the next hire?
I mean, we needed to improve in a lot of areas. There wasn't one specific area. But I say, by and large, we just felt the timing to shift was right. And we moved quickly to Bud just because when we look at our roster and what our roster needs, he fits it, right? I'm a competitive guy, and we talk about this too. Throughout that process, Bud must have said compete 95 times in 2 minutes, but compete at everything. You know, compete in practice, compete with each other, against each other, compete against your opponent, but more importantly, compete with yourself. And I thought that was an area of our team where we could be better, because there were bouts where we didn't reach our potential. A lot of that was just the inconsistency and our competitive nature, and so that's something we wanted to rectify, and I believe we're getting it right.
Great, we're going to end with a photo op. So thank you, everyone. We'll do that, and you can get some photos. Just 1 second.